I've always been an introvert. I didn't speak much, even amongst friends or social gatherings. I used to get prompted sometimes, which made me feel awkward that I wasn't participating actively in the discussions. Didn't mean that I had lack of words or knowledge, but it's just who I was. And my introverted personality was a limiting factor in my career. While my academia gave me strength in my technical ability, I lacked in people skills. And I remember at one stage, while working with my boss in my first job in an accounting practice, he told me to stop visiting the tax office because I could not communicate well. That incident had a strong impact on me mentally, and I decided to go from a small hometown to Delhi to prove myself. I joined the corporate sector as a financial accountant, and within 8 years, I became the CFO of the whole group, which by then had expanded internationally. Worked very closely with the chairman and managing director of that group, who was a visionary, and I learned a lot under his mentorship, which filled me with confidence. With this newfound confidence, I moved to Perth with my wife and 2 young boys. I wanted to pursue my passion to consult and help small businesses and individuals achieve their goals and financial freedom. But that meant I had to start all over again, and it was challenging. My qualifications were not recognized here, and I had no experience in the local accounting industry, and everything was a cultural shock. I had to find a relevant job so that I can feed my family and be able to study for my Australian CA qualification so that my professional credentials can be recognized. That meant I had to start with a basic role where I'm competing with graduates who had no experience. And it turns out that my lack of exposure to the local work culture was playing a negative role. After numerous attempts from various angles and some guidance and experience, I managed to land my first job after 6 weeks in a small to mid-sized accounting firm in West Perth. First day at the office, and it was intimidating. Everything was new to me. The systems, the software, the team, the work culture, and the so-called timesheets and the time-based billing. I was struggling with the Aussie accent and was trying to adjust to it. I was desperate to produce results to impress my directors. I would keep asking a lot of questions to my colleagues and go back to the directors for help. I thought I was making progress. But to my shock, at the beginning of the 3rd week, I was handed over a notice of termination. I was told I don't have the essential skills for this job. It was only 2 weeks, and I was trying to learn the ropes. But I was not given enough opportunity to prove myself. I had to then pack my stuff and leave. I wanted to cry and was controlling my tears to avoid the embarrassment. I had no courage left to go back home and tell my wife. I spent the afternoon in the city and went home after office hours so could I avoid telling my family. I had only so much savings left to last for a few months, as the cost of living and the rent was already killing us. It was hard for me to face the reality, but I was on a mission. I wouldn't be able to start my CA qualifications, to get my professional credentials recognized, till I start working in an accounting practice to achieve the required mentorship. For next 2 years, I focused on the essential skills, what is required to be a practicing accountant in Australia. 2 years later, I got a breakthrough in another small to mid-sized accounting firm in Joondalup. The owner was so impressed with my interview that he offered me the role of a manager because he appreciated my knowledge, my international work experience, and what I could bring to the table. Having worked for 10 months in that role and the results I produced, I was then offered a pathway to partnership in their business. Eventually, I left because my vision was not aligned to it. I wanted to build something of my own. I wanted to build a legacy. And Fortuna was born.